This week, we're going to be reading series that we're in the middle of. Why? Because the list of series is long and scary, and we need to dedicate time to tackle it. In today's video, we're going to be reading two books. They both are book 2 of a series. One of them is called 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖎𝖆 by Tarah DeWitt. This is book 2 of 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖉, the Spunes Oregon series. And the second book that we're going to be tackling this week is 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖉 by Bolu, Babalola. So both of the previous books from these series I rated very highly. I think I rated Honey and Spice 5 stars, and I think I rated 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖉 4 stars. I remember 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖉 being just a really good fun time, and I remember Honey and Spice, the story and the plot really kind of grabbed me. And at first, I didn't even know that there was a book 2. I was satisfied. I was happy with the way that the book ended. I was content with it. But then when I found out there was a book 2 and it was kind of spoiled for me what book 2 was about, I got upset. I was like,
No, not my happily ever after.
So I refused to read book 2. But then we ended up finding book 2 on Book Outlet, and I wanted to purchase it because I just couldn't not know. So here we are, committed to finishing the series. I do know that there's a book 3 of this series, and I believe this series is only a duet, so we would be completing it. There would still be one left for us to finish in the Spunes Oregon one. I have already made an executive decision to start with this book in this vlog, and I don't want to tell you too much and spoil any of this series, but this one kind of revolves around a wedding, which I just finished The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, and that also revolved around a wedding. I opted into jumping into this one. I kind of know the premise of this one. I think they go on like a road trip together or something, and they reconnect. This one's shorter too, so it's less of a commitment, you know? I haven't updated my series tracker in a really long time. I know that where we left it, we were sitting at about 70 plus series we had to finish, and I know it's only grown. I've been trying pretty hard not to add to that list until we take some series off. However, you know, life happens, new releases happen, and we just kind of find ourselves diving into more series. I think for every series that we knock off the list, we add about 5 more. So this is a never-ending list. So today's Sunday. We do have some things that we have to complete for today. As you know, in my household, we do a Sunday reset where this is the day that we tidy up. We do the majority of our laundry. And so today's gonna be a really active day. Both of these books I have the audiobook for, so we can bop around and that won't be an issue. Also, I know that I love the narrators for the 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖉 series. That is gonna be no problem. I don't think that we will get through the entirety of this book today, but it is only a little over 300 pages. I mean, it's possible, but likely not. This will take me probably 2 days. I just got my new pair of earbuds, the 𝖒𝖊𝖉𝖎𝖆 Flex 2. I have been enjoying them so far. They're very comfortable. I wore them for a long time yesterday and they didn't die on me. So this is what's going to be helping us stay busy, but also stay productive. Also, you know, I can't do anything like a normal person, and I think that these are going to kind of go head to head. I'm not going to be comparing them, but we will see which one we like better. Just because they're kind of summary reconnection romances. So we're gonna see which one rates higher. All right, I think that was a long enough intro. So now it is time to start reading. All right, it is time to check in. We have officially reached the 100-page mark. That puts us at around 30% completion, and I'm having a good time so far. Wanted to come be outside for a little bit because it is almost plus 30 degrees Celsius outside today, and in the shade it feels really amazing. So if you hear some outdoor noises, an air conditioner, a bird, the the wind. Just enjoy the moment with me. I am liking the book a lot so far. The beginning has been very interesting. Doesn't start off the way your typical book begins. We're kind of doing a little bit of time hopping. There's also some like pen pal letters situation happening, and it's keeping everything really interesting. Book is keeping me hooked so far, especially the flashbacks have already started becoming a little spicy, so be prepared for that if you're going to read this one. But it wasn't too much, and it just puts you into the situation really quickly, and that's good because we don't want there to be any confusion. It's been a really unique experience to just learn where they were, where they are, and kind of laying out what's to come. I feel like I am still getting my bearings in this book. Like I said, this is a continuation of book one. We are back in the same location in town. However, there was a little descriptor in the beginning saying that we're not gonna stay in Spunes, Oregon, so that is totally fine. But we're put right back into the close-knit group of friends. You definitely can feel that small town community vibe. Being immersed in the world hasn't been too terrible. As I said earlier, we are pairing the book with the audiobook, and it's been a really good time. I'm really enjoying the narrator's voices. I love Ren, the female main character's voice. It's this kind of deep, a little raspy voice, and then obviously Ellis's voice. The male main character his voice is incredible too, so I'm gonna enjoy this audiobook, I have a feeling. This is dual perspective, so we are flip-flopping between Ellis's POV and Ren's POV, and I think that also helps keep the book really interesting. I do find myself getting a little confused on who's who. There's a lot of name dropping and connections between everyone, and because I'm listening and also doing tasks around the house, I find myself getting a little confused at who the people are and their relation to the characters. But I think I've got it. So far, my first impressions of the main characters are pretty good. I don't mind either of them. There's so much yearning that's happening in this book that you feel their pain and you feel how deeply their feelings go. It's giving me a sense of respect for the two of them. It sounds like they both were just dealing with something really tough, and they would have been good together had they given it the proper chances, I guess. But there's so much yearning, and you really do feel sad for these characters. I do find myself really interested to keep going. I took a little break, did some socializing, got myself changed and ready for the day. It is currently almost 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. So just, going through the motions, doing the laundry. We got vacuuming done, as you saw earlier. It's been a pretty productive day so far. I would love to reach the 50% mark before the end of the day. Just don't know how that's going to play out with there just being a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, I think we're just about the point in the story where they're going to hit the road trip. Something sparked the MMC to want to go on this road trip, so he must have seen something that we have yet to find out kind of what the motivator was for that suggestion to Ren, our main character. But I think it's going to be a good fun time. Also, disclaimer, I'm not sure if we're counting this as a summer read. Obviously I'm reading it during the summer, but I don't know if this is taking place during the summer. So it starts off in the fall and then we go through Thanksgiving, but now we've time hopped to spring. I think it's like the son is going to be going off to college like right now, soon, March-ish, maybe April-ish. So we could argue and say it's a summer read, but if we are being technical here, it may be considered a spring read. Just depends on how much time they take in this little roadie of theirs. So also Ellis is great. Ellis is there's an airplane. Ellis is great. He is not super broody, but he's nice and he's there for his friends and his family. And you can tell he's just like the rock of the relationship. And my gosh, Tarah DeWitt can write romance. She can write spice. So I am so excited to continue this read. We are officially 50% of the way through Left of Forever, or somewhere near that number, and it feels really good. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to read this much today, but again, with my headphones and just kind of doing all my chores while listening to the audiobook, I have been able to reach the halfway mark. The book did not start the way that I expected, and I've actually been enjoying myself. It's been really fun reading this book and going through some of the unfinished business that this couple has. I think think this book surprised me in the way that it started, and I didn't expect that at all. The pacing is really great. We did go from one year to another, but it didn't feel too quick. It just kind of gave us some backstory and then let us know where we are now. So not too much back and forth happening, which is really great. I think if I was going to rate this book now, I'd probably give it a 3.5 or 4. It's a good time. I like these characters. I'm really loving the narration. I know that I shouldn't consider that when I'm reading a book physically, but I'm just having a really good time. And I like the way that the love is written and the descriptions. I really like the way that they're handling this properly and they're taking this very seriously. And I like that. I'm glad they're not being destructive with each other's feelings. And I love the care that went into the writing of these characters and kind of the hard situation that they're navigating. I do know that there's a third book to this, so I'm excited to get to that one. But this one is good. I don't know if I like it better than the first one, but I guess we'll see how the rest of the story unfolds. But it's looking pretty good. So tonight we have live sprints. So we're going to be doing that starting in about like 5 minutes. I need to get things going. But yeah, we're gonna hang out. We're gonna read for a few hours live with the homies, and it's gonna be a really good night. Tomorrow is Monday. We have work tomorrow, so I probably won't do as much reading as I'd like to tomorrow, but we will see. We have officially completed Left of Forever, and we got it done in a day, which is, I'm actually quite baffled. I consumed this book. The audiobook saved me, but yes, I consumed this book, and it was really great. So the ending was actually really cute. There was no big, huge blow up fallout. There was a couple moments where you got a little worried, you were a little concerned, you didn't know what was going to happen, but this is a happily ever after. And I think after reading the book and just going through their heartache and their pains and all of the yearning, by the time you get to the end, you're like, yes, this is all you wanted, was this kind of ending. My halfway gut rating was right. At 50%, I think we were giving it a 4, and final rating is also going to be a 4. I enjoyed myself from the beginning all the way to the end. I can't say enough how much I enjoy Tarah's writing, and I think that really makes the book. Obviously, obviously good writing really impacts the book. I am so excited to get into the third book for this series and even probably read more of what Tarah DeWitt has written. Those that are fans of Emily Henry would probably like this book. I wouldn't put it in the same category as our rom-coms, Lynn Painter, Allie Hazelwood, Christina Lauren. Those sometimes lean a little more silly and fun. It had its moments, it had its humor, but it was a little more serious. There were some topics that could be tough to read, so make sure you check some trigger warnings before you go into this one. This one was just a little more serious, and our main characters learned a lot about themselves, and it was really great to see them grow as, an individual and grow as a couple. Sweet. This book was sweet. That would be my word that I would choose for this book. Everything about this book was sweet. Our main male character was sweet. Our female main character was sweet. The family was sweet. It's a very heartwarming book. So I did finish this book on sprints. That's why we're here talking about it with the crew. Couldn't have done it without the audiobook. Definitely couldn't have done it without the audiobook. I do appreciate everyone being here with me tonight. It's always fun reading with you guys. We will be live again next Sunday on good afternoon. I should say good evening. We just got off of work. Today was not as productive as I would had hoped. Unfortunately, work consisted of back-to-back-to-back meetings, so I got nothing done at work, just survived. That also meant that we didn't do any reading during our break or our lunch. I didn't do much of anything other than be in meetings. I wanted to recap yesterday. We ended up starting and finishing Left It Forever. As you saw in our last clip, we finished it during our live sprints, and that was really fun. I'm glad I got to do that with you all. And if you are interested in doing live sprints with me, I try to do them every Sunday, so just make sure you're around or make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and you should hear about it at some point. But I don't know if I said everything that I wanted to say while I was live, but all in all, the book was great, and I think I conveyed that over the sprints. That is why you kind of got an out of context clip, because that's how we spent our Sunday night. For a few hours we were live and we were doing sprints. So that means today we will be starting Sweet Heat by Bolu Babalola. I have not been able to read even a page of this book. The night looks like we're gonna have book club here at my house this week. Got some friends coming over, and we're not reading the same book, we're just reading together. So it usually is about 75% yapping, catching up, seeing how everyone is doing, and then 25% maybe talking about books, maybe reading. We really never know how the night's gonna go, but that's okay. I'm here for it. The plan is to have book club and to start this book. I wanted to go over some things though before we jump into it. As I said before, I am really excited to read this book, so this is also a second chance romance. Unfortunately, that means our characters from book one must not have stayed together, so I'm curious how they're gonna, like, are we gonna see them break up? Is that kind of off page and we're being caught up with them now? Is it going to be dual POV? I really have no clue. I don't know what to expect. Also, by reading the back, it does say that this is kind of set around a wedding. So that's really all I know about the book so far. I'm not even sure what its average rating on Goodreads is. I just know that I really enjoyed book one. I am excited for book two. I'm also going to be listening to the audiobook while reading this. So knowing that it is second chance romance, I'm just curious how much they actually truly hate each other. If it was just miscommunication and they are already yearning for each other, like in our last book, we'll see. So I'll see you guys once we read 50% of the book. Welcome back. It is Wednesday, July 8th, and I think I last left you on Monday. Now, I can't remember if the last clip you saw was the book club, but if it was, here we are, 2 days later. This week has been a little busier than I had anticipated. Unfortunately, on Sunday, I was so hopeful that I would be able to read these two books in a few days. And here we are, day 4. You know what? That's just how life goes. However, I wanted to catch up with you because I am now on page 116 of Sweet Heat. Brings us to about 23% completion. And I have some things I want to share with you. First of all, overall, I'm loving this book. I forgot just how much I enjoy the writing by Bolu. She has a way with words. I often feel like I'm not smart enough to be reading this book, and I'm relying heavily on the audiobook. I think I've mentioned that already, but it's the only way that I can truly understand the story currently, and I'm having so much fun. So audiobook aside, because I've already explained to you how much I love the audiobook, the story is just so wonderful. The way that some of these things are being described to us and the word choices, their sentences and the structure, like they make you stop and they make you think. And one of the biggest feelings that I experience while reading this book is I couldn't have said it any anywhere near the way that she did. I think this adds a level of eloquence, adds a level of uniqueness to our main character, but I just can't shut up about the writing. So we just ended on chapter 4. These chapters are long. Just putting it into perspective, 100 pages, chapter 4. In your average book, we might have been a little further in than we are now. Sitting down and reading the book has been a little difficult because of the length of the chapters. I really need to sit down and be able to dedicate my time to a chapter. And so I find myself trying to find the perfect window of time to not be interrupted. And honestly, these last few days have just been so busy. I didn't have 15, 20, 30 minutes to just sit down and read. So here we are after work now, and I just finished chapter 4. Our main characters have just been reunited. For a contemporary romance book, there is so much inner monologue happening that I feel like I am this main character. And I love that. And I love the slow build up to these two main characters being reacquainted with each other. Okay, so I have found myself a few times wanting to tab the book because some of the lines in here, lines that I would love to reflect on and look back on and refer to in the future. The book did, in fact, hook me from the start. I'm really glad that this has pulled me in the way that it has, and I'm really intrigued, interested, invested, committed to this book. I love the way that it started because when the chapters first opened up, we really didn't know who the main character was talking about. And then we find out where she's at, how long it's been, we get our bearings. And then now we're kind of in the present and we're getting to experience this stuff with our main character. Kiki is just how I remembered her from the first book. She's fiery and she's bold and she's not afraid of using her voice and speaking up. Still so obsessed with her like I was from the first book. She sounds like the breakup that she's went through has been, I don't know if it was two-sided, one-sided, but it sounds like she's not had a love interest this heavy since her breakup with her ex. I don't find myself picking it up. I don't find myself like itching to pick up this book, and it's not because of the level of enjoyment. It's really just the commitment that it takes to get through a chapter. So like I said, I have the audiobook. Hopefully I can keep the audiobook going while I'm doing some menial tasks around the house, and that should help me make progress in the story. Tonight we do have some editing to do. I try to stay available to my family for whatever it is, whether it's family time, games, reading, chats, conversations, or if somebody needs help with something. I try to protect the time between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. And there's moments like this where my daughter has been playing in her room with her Legos since 3:30. And here we are, it's like 6 o'clock now. So there's some days where I'm not needed, and that is fine because then there's moments like this that I can dedicate to reading. I have my headphones in. I'm ready to fire up the audiobook. I'm ready to get another chapter underway. And I look forward to the interactions that our two main characters are going to have with each other now that they've kind of made eye contact. So a little bit of editing tonight after 8 p.m. 8 to 11 is my like deep work time for any personal projects or endeavors that I want to pursue. And so tonight is editing the long form video for Saturday's go live. I'm in a really good spot with the video. I think we should have it final cut, no problem, by tomorrow and uploaded and scheduled before Friday evening. I would love to get everything done before the weekend. However, I do have a feeling that we will have to dedicate a lot of the weekend to also getting this done because I need to get this book finished no later than Monday next week. We should have plenty of time, but at the rate that I'm going, it's a little concerning. I have to seek out the motivation to read. The last few weeks have been just kind of draining me energy-wise. I've felt so busy at work, busy at home. I feel like I'm doing things right up until bedtime and not really having a free moment. I'm going to utilize the time now, enjoy it, because at 8, it's back to work. We are officially 50% of the way through this book. You can go and you can check it out yourself. We're actually a little over 50%. I think we're roughly 58%. We're about to have a flashback, so this is a pivotal moment for this story. So far, we have been in the present with these two people being reintroduced to each other that have a very interesting and complicated past. They've gotten to a point now where they can get along and then get upset with each other, and then they can get along again and kind of move forward in their new relationship. But then we just kind of crashed again. It's all about what these individuals can handle emotionally, mentally, physically. And they keep finding that they kind of push the friendship a little too far. They get a little comfortable. They get a little too comfortable, and then they push away again. So we're kind of on this like back and forth ride. But in the moment right now in this book, we are going back to the past. So I think we are going to learn what actually happened between these two that divided them so fiercely, why they are in the situation that they're in currently. The book did not start as I had expected. I wasn't really sure what to expect, quite honestly. However, I am loving the story so far, how we've progressed through the story, and I love the level of information that we're getting when we get it. My hair would definitely stick up now that I'm like recording. Is it clear that it's a hair wash day? Oh my fucking God, are you kidding me? So with all that to say, I am very motivated to continue through the story. The pacing is really great. The chapters are long. While we are in a chapter, the time moves very slowly because we are in our main character's head mostly, and then in the conversation that happens as well. That is something to note. The time between chapters could be days, weeks, months. So far, we've done a few jumps of like 3 months have gone by. We've also done 3 weeks have gone by. There's a lot of things missing as far as the day-to-day stuff, but I think that the stuff that's being shared with us is what really matters. My gut rating right now, like very early on, I wanted to rate this a 5 stars. The writing is just too beautiful. Like I just can't get over it. And so that's why I keep repeating it, but gut rating is still a 5 star. I just love these two characters so deeply. I just want them to work out. And I can't still quite articulate how or why I like the female main character. She's in her head a lot, but in a very intelligent way. And in the way that she responds to people, she's quick and snarky and sassy, but she's just so smart. And I wish I could be as cool as Kiki in this book. Like, quite honestly, she is my idol. I think the only thing that might change it from a 5 star to lower is if I'm just not satisfied with the way the story ends up coming to a close. I know what I want, but I don't know if that's what the characters want or end up doing. And I could see this having a really big emotional hit at the end. But also, I don't want this book to be predictable. Like, I want it to be a happily ever after. So if it turns out to be a happily ever after, will I be satisfied? Because that was expected. I don't know. I feel at this point, the author could literally do anything right now because we are just in the palms of her hands. It is my lunch break. I'm gonna continue this for like 20 more minutes. I'm gonna see if I can get through another chapter, see what actually happened to these two and why they kind of drifted apart. We will check back in with you at 100%.
Several days later.
So we have officially finished Sweet Heat by Bolu Babalola. I can never spell her name right. Sorry, I just like looked at the author's name and I realized I spelled it wrong in my TikTok that I posted today. So we are finally 100% through the way of Sweet Heat. We have completed it. And let me just tell you, this was 5 stars from the start. I know you guys watched this video. I could just tell from the writing, from the relationship, from everything that our main character is learning. 5 stars. I have notes. For one, the yearning in this book is hands down straight up the definition, the epitome of yearning. These two yearned for each other so much, and we only get the female main character's perspective in this book. You could really feel Malachi's yearning for Kiki, and Kiki the same for Malachi. They just were so in love. They never stopped loving each other, and they just needed to understand that about each other. The heartbreak is so real in this book, and the back and forth is so exhausting and so tired, but like it it makes you just want to root for them even more. The ending was a little predictable, but that's okay. I don't even care. I had a good time. I'm just so happy the way this book ended. It couldn't have ended any better. It was exactly as I needed it to end. And we got the closure that we needed from this book. I think book one ended well, but then here we were in book two. It was nothing like you would have expected, and then we go through it again with them, and it was just beautiful. I think if you are a fan of Honey and Spice, definitely continue the series. I think that if you really like descriptive internal dialogue style of writing, then this book is definitely for you. I think it's tricky when books attempt second chance romance because I think it takes a certain thing to keep me interested, and this one did it so well. Honestly, both of these books did second chance romance really well. Both of these men were incredible in these books. The women were incredible, and you wanted the best for them. You wanted them to have their happily ever after. It's hard to say which one of these books I enjoyed the most. They were different experiences. However, this one just blew me away. It put me in this magical trance and teleported me, and we lived these lives. That's all you could expect from a book, and this one did that. Both of them had really great payoff when it came to that second chance romance, and both of them are worth a read. The only thing I want to note is that this one, even though it's an interconnected series, it does have a book 3. We're not finished with this series yet. We do need to continue this series. However, this one is done. We can mark this complete on our series tracker. That feels great. That feels so good. Final rating for Sweet Heat was 5 stars, and final rating for Left of Forever was 4 stars. They had about the same amount of spice. However, this one was just a little more descriptive. So if you made it this far in the video, first of all, thank you for sticking around. I do appreciate all your support, even if you put me on the background, even if you're sleeping right now. Thank you for letting the video run. I know these ones are a little longer. I just thought it'd be nice to cozy up and take you with me on this little series adventure. Also, I need you all to keep me accountable so that I keep reading series that I'm in the middle of. I'm very excited to have an episode 3 and continue this series in the future. Make sure to comment below some of the series that you hope to wrap up this year before 2027. I know it's only July, however, that means next month is August, and now we're starting to creep closer to the end of the year. You gotta keep these series on the top of our mind. We can't forget that these are books that we need to complete. If you don't want to say anything in the comments, maybe just drop a pepper in the comments below so that I know that you made it this far. As always, I thank you so much for being here with me today for this video, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Why am I being like performative? This is so annoying.